Thank you for joining us, everybody. We're going to get our show started in just a couple of seconds here. Want to remind everybody, if you could just share this broadcast, we would greatly appreciate it because it would help us get more views and make the show a lot more exciting for live interaction. So please, don't forget to share the broadcast. We also appreciate all of your likes and comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and get ready for Spit The Wit. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to this show that was entirely produced and developed by the people sitting in front of you. Jessy Meadows and Frankie Almost. Brought to you in part by Rolling Hills Productions. Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Spit The Wit. Jessy, if you would be so kind, would you please tell us what today's show's about?
Well, we don't really have a guest or anything, so it's just going to be us talking back and forth about weird stuff. So that should be exciting for everybody.
It does sound exciting. Okay.
And now, here is your host, Frankie Almost.
Hello. It's my big grand entrance when I turn around in my chair like that and face the audience like the Phantom or something. How you guys doing? It is Tuesday. What is today's date? I don't even know.
The 14th.
May
14th.
March 14th.
March 14th.
We don't even know what month it is. Okay, so yeah. So it's March 14th and it's Tuesday. We were going to have Red on the show today, but instead we decided to do him on Friday. We're going to do him on Friday. Right. And the reason being is because he has a karaoke show and we want it to be more fresh in people's mind when that is. I think it's on Sundays over at E-String. So we apologize to Red, but we last minute kind of said we should do this Friday because we're ill prepared anyway. Okay, so let's see. Welcome, of course, my lovely and beautiful co-host and wife, Jessy Meadows.
Hello.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good.
Yeah, that sounded convincing, actually. Hello, everybody. We got Kincaid Voss that said, love the applause. It's funny that you haven't noticed it yet. It's the exact same intro. As a matter of fact, we were going to change the intro because we wanted to switch this up every 10 episodes, and we're already on 13, and we haven't switched anything yet. So we were going to switch up the intro. Maybe even have Kincaid Voss or one of our other people that want to do voiceovers like Jeremy Flores do the voiceovers. Somebody contact me, and we'll make you the voice, because as you know, that's my annoying radio voice, because I did voiceover work for a long time too, so that annoying voice that you hear in the beginning is actually intentionally annoying because we just wanted everybody to have fun with it. It's like your stereotypical radio voice. So but yeah, Kincaid Voss, whose name is actually Eric. Am I allowed to tell people that, Eric, or am I disclosing too much? Anyway, if you want, you could do our intro, which would be something basically like that. Also want to appreciate everybody that shared the broadcast. It sounds like a wrestling announcer. Yeah, exactly. That is the wrestling announcer and the Sunday kind of guy. So because our show is so freaking epic, dude, that we couldn't just go with your standard hi, welcome. It had to be in your face because, I mean, look at us, dude. We're so full of energy and
oh yeah,
and moxie that it's actually supposed to like amp us up a little because we're so low key that it actually does amp me up a tiny bit, but it's gotten to the point where it's annoying now. So I'm like,
yeah, we need to change it.
We need to change it. We need to refresh the show every 10 episodes and let it get stale. However, in television and in things like that, for those of you that don't know, it's not always good to change things too drastically. You have to keep it comfortable. So
yeah.
So there's a fine line. And Jess, why don't you talk about a little something? You read the room or something like that while I take a sip of this here soda pop.
Well, Kincaid says that he needs a new name now.
He needs a new name?
Yeah.
You mean on Facebook or in real life?
I think Facebook, but maybe both.
Frankie, dress up. Is that like a new doll that you're thinking of making? It's the Frankie dress up doll.
I want that doll.
Do his hair, make his man bun. Dress him up in silly clothes. It's the Frankie dress up doll. I love it, Eric. That's a great idea. It's hard for me to dress up all the time. I'm not really wanting to dress up because of how the weather's been. So
it's hot in here.
Want to hear
really hot.
Funny story? The shirt that Jessica's wearing right now. Will you stop doing that? Oh my gosh! Are you just gonna punch the microphone all day?
No.
Okay. So the shirt that Jessica's wearing, or Jessy Meadows, sorry, was actually purchased for me by my mom. My mom was in Costco or something to that effect, and she was buying me shirts from when she lived in North Carolina. So she was just grabbing things randomly, and I do wear feminine colors like that because I'm goofy and silly like that. And so apparently they were folded up and you couldn't see the sleeves or whatever, because they're like I don't know, they're like the shirt style of capri pants, and you see how they're like buttoned right here. They go all the way down on Jess's arms, but on me they were coming up to like right here, and I looked like Angus Young or something. I was like, what the hell? But I held on to it because I don't like to throw away gifts because it makes me feel guilty. And it's funny because it was like 5 years before not 5 years before I met her, but a couple years before I met her. But here it is like 5 years after the purchase of the shirt, and it's finally being worn by somebody. And who better to fill the shoes? And so my mom basically was buying shirts for a girl that I hadn't even met yet, which is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So she, that's kind of like the secret, you know? There's like foresight. Here's a shirt. Now I just need a girl to fill it. Maybe that's what you should do, Eric, to get your chick. Like, get your ideal size and just go out buying clothes for that size person, and then somebody will show up to get in them. That's not a bad idea, actually. Right. Advertise gay clothes. Yeah, we could do that. I have like a lot of gay friends, and you know, I have no problem advertising gay clothes for them. And making out with them from time to time. I didn't say that. Okay.
No.
Oh, man. So, it's a lot of silly shit going on out there in the world, and we're not going to talk about any of it. So, there. You want to talk about that? Go somewhere else. So, yeah. How about them Patriots, huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
You know, we're out of material, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that we won't stumble upon something. I know that one thing we need to talk about, which I like vowed on episode 1, was that we wouldn't talk about the weather too much. And now I'm figuring out a way that we can get one of our webcams on the roof here so we can show like the city before the show and cut to it and stuff like that, just to give people because it makes people feel more comfortable when they can see what's going on in Vegas and the sun's just getting ready to set and all that crap. And I'm like, oh my God, we have to do that. So it's funny how like we all contradict ourselves. I'm like, episode 1, I'm like, the weather, I don't want to talk about the damn weather, like, it's so boring.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, we've got to show the weather.
We're gonna live stream the weather
because it has gotten beautiful here. For those of you that don't live in Vegas, I apologize for you, because the Northeast is stop hitting the microphone. All right, for the people in the Northeast, man, they're getting hit really hard with all these snowstorms, and it is like freaking 85 degrees and cooking in the car. And that was one thing that I did want to talk about. We wanted to do a whole episode on this because it's just such a travesty. But my mom has this car, and we're all using it right now because mine's out of commission. And the power steering, since she bought this thing back in like 2006 or something like that, the power steering went out, and she had it replaced, and then it went out, and then she had it replaced, and then it went out. And it was all being covered by insurance at that time because, you know, when you buy a new car, you know, the insurance plan, you can just bring it in and have it fixed for free. And then, of course, the car eventually got paid off, and the same scenario kept happening. And I don't understand why a mechanic can't, like, fix something indefinitely, or at least for longer than a year. So the last time that she had this fixed was just a couple months ago. So it's been without power steering now for like a month and a half because she brought it in. She paid $700 and they fixed the power steering, and then they handed her back the car and they're like, "Oh, you're good to go." And then, of course, just like a week and a half after that, it went out, and they couldn't insure the thing because it was all made with refurbished parts. So there was $700 well spent. So not only that, but ever since she's bought the car, and I don't want to name the make or model because I actually like the make of car that it is. Maybe not the model, but I like the make of car. And I don't want to like put them on Front Street right now. But they need to fix the air conditioning because every time we bring it in, like, here's the deal. So we're sitting in 110 degree weather here in Vegas. And as soon as you pull up to a traffic light or get stopped in traffic, the air goes warm and completely hot, and that's like when you really need it, is when the car's not moving and you're sitting there and like, ah. As soon as the car gets rolling again, it starts kicking out cold air, and people are like, "Oh, it's in fan mode," and all this crap. Like, everybody has a theory. Everybody thinks they're freaking genius when it comes to this thing. Everybody. I mean, over the course of the past, how old is the car? Like 10 years, maybe almost 11 years old. People have been like, "Oh, dude, blah, blah, blah." And you know how mechanics are cocky and people are cocky and just think they know everything. So everybody has spit out what they believe is wrong with the car, and they're never right. And here it is, hundreds and thousands of dollars later, and as soon as you pull up to a stoplight and the air goes hot. It's the stupidest thing. And people are like, think it's a Freon and all this, that, but it's not. So that was one of the things that was grinding my gears. Okay. And I'm glad we have this pair of scissors for me to play with, because I don't know why. Jess, what are you talking about? Are you talking about things or what? What's this?
That's my vegan cookie sandwich that I was gonna maybe eat, but I don't know if I'm having a problem.
You have this thing about wanting to eat on camera. What is that? Most people avoid that with like the plague, dude. But on Valentine's Day, you had a vegan cookie. I don't know. And you were like, "I'm gonna eat it on camera." Ugh. Maybe like, because I did not. I know, because you're not that type of person, unfortunately. You need to work on that. Be like, "Babe, I made dinner. Let's have spaghetti." I'm just a male, dude. Just living in a male world, man. You know, male-dominated society and all that. Just your typical white, brainless, horny, dumb, stupid male. So anyway, what's up with your cookie? You and your fetish is about eating it on camera. What is that?
I don't know. Maybe because like eating on camera has a purpose. Maybe, I don't know.
You want to delve into that a little more, or no?
What do you mean?
Why does food have to have a purpose like that?
Well, because it does.
Okay. That's what I thought. So anyway, a little bit of an inside thing there. Who's saying anything? Anybody?
Not much.
Not much. Good. This is making for a good show.
Kincaid said cameras and microwaves, and then Danny said if looks could kill. Oh yeah, he would not be here anymore if looks could kill.
Why? Oh, because of the way that you were cutting me a look? I thought you meant because you're so hot I should be dead. Well, that's the way I saw it, so you should be looking at me in a little different tone now. If tones have looks and looks have tones. Microwaves, that was the thing, dude. That chick, I can't remember what her name is. The one that's like kind of hottish but has really heavy bags under her eyes. The blonde goofy chick that works for the White House. You know what I'm talking about? You don't even know who I'm talking about. Anyway, she said there was cameras and microwaves. And the whole world is losing their mind about it. And I'm like, slip of the tongue. I do it all the time, and you're on live TV and shit. And you're not really always of your sorts, especially when you're a blonde woman. But
this is just going to be okay. So I know what the title of our show is.
It's Pick on Jessy.
On Jessy.
But yeah, so no, she, and why not microwaves, dude? Like maybe she meant in the front panel or whatever. Of course, there would probably be some interference with the microwaves, but yeah. But who knows? We don't know the technology they have out there. I mean, anything's possible. Yeah.
I still have the narcolepsy thing going on, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to see a sleep specialist about that. So I'm going to end up seeing a psychiatrist.
Can I tell you why partially we are out of our sorts today? We're typically out of our sorts because we're out of our element because we shouldn't be doing this, but we like doing it. So, But we're out of our sorts today because this little one, and why she's catching so much crap today. I was in the middle of sleep, which is like my favorite thing to do. It's like, hey, do you want to go out and party? I'm like, is there sleep involved? Because that's what I like to do is sleep. And so I was sleeping, and she wakes me up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to see the sleep specialist, right? Because she's having some narcolepsy issues, or what she's diagnosing as.
It's like excessive daytime sleepiness and narcolepsy and lack of energy.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Okay. So she wakes me up. She's like, hey, babe, it's time to drive all the way to Summerlin from Silverado Ranch, which is like a 45-minute drive, and especially during traffic. We go and we pull into the freaking sleep specialist. And she's like, yeah, so I'm having trouble sleeping and this, that, and the other thing. He's like, I want you to go to bed at 11, and I want you to wake up at 7, and I want you to get out of bed and don't lay in bed and don't do activities in bed, aside from sex, and don't, like, make the bed about your world. He's like, get up and actually get out of the room. I'll see you in a month. And I had to put, like, 3.5 hours of my day for some dude to just be like, you've got to go to sleep. Retarded.
Yeah,
it was fun. So here I am, unshaven, unkempt, because I got to take care of my little tiny wife.
Well, yeah, I've got to. I don't multitask very well. I don't walk
I'm
and
noticing that. And you're like, I gotta, and then you start typing. It's like, hello, we're live here. Dead air is like our enemy. Mortal enemy. It's hard to type. If you're typing words, yeah, it's hard to type and talk at the same time because your brain is concentrating on the words that you're typing. Who are you talking to anyway? You messaging dudes, man? You talking to guys?
Well, yeah, kind of. There's the guys that are in our room.
Oh, the guys in the room. Okay. All right.
But yeah, so I'm going to see a psychiatrist on Thursday.
Nice.
And
why are you doing that?
We're going to try to figure this whole thing out because I have a couple problems anyway, so I need to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah. Everybody's like, well, you're married to the guy next to you, obviously. You need to see a psychiatrist.
So yeah, I'm hoping that we get this whole. Yeah, I know. Don't.
You're gonna have to go to the emergency room if you bang the microphone one more time. All right. I've got scissors.
It's not mean to me.
I know. That's why you need to see a psychiatrist. So, wow, I'm getting friend requests. That's nice. I like that. Hello. What do we talk about? You want to just sit here and let people? We could do that. We could just uncomfortably sit here.
We could do like an awkward pause,
and just see how many people like come in and watch the live broadcast if we just stand there and or just sit here and stare at the cameras. Oh, speaking of cameras, that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. Let me switch to it because, as you know, we when it's just Jess and I, we don't do too much camera switching. Plus, I don't like to turn my back to you guys because I feel like, oh my god, I'm shunning them. Plus, I don't like the way I look from the side because I'm like super fat right now for our movie. But anyway, I wanted to show you this because this needs to be shown, and that is we were donated a camera, and we have the camera installed thanks to Howard Rolling of Rolling Hills Productions. He hooked up the camera, received the package in the mail here at the Spit The Wit studio, which is Rolling Hills Productions. And so because of Amanda Nelson and Red, who was supposed to be on the show today, we have this fancy new camera that's pointed at Jess right now. So we got to get rid of one of our crappier cameras. So now we're working with the two that are our favorites. So thank you, Red and Amanda, for that. And then enough of her. You need the star back on the show. That's me. So I've never been more fat in my life, I don't think. And everybody, like, she's telling me, no, I think you've been fatter one time when I first met you or something. Yeah. But maybe it was just a different kind of weight. Like, maybe I was just more bloated or something, like a sea lion. But I'm freaking so stifling hot and fat right now, and it's so
hot in here.
And it's so hot in here, and it's so uncomfortable. But to explain, well, why, dude? Because if you look at the episode 1 and 2, I was actually like losing weight because I was on a downward diet, heading downwards. I don't know. I almost said downward spiral, but that would have been completely. See, people make mistakes when they talk. Microwaves, cameras with microwaves, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, I was dieting to get to a lower weight, and then it turned out it was like, oh no, I need to be heavy, which is for my benefit too because I like to eat. So I was like, no, I need to be heavy for this movie, for the beginning scene of this movie. So it's just like one shot that I am gaining this weight for. So I can like I go into a bathroom and I have no shirt on and it's absolutely repulsive looking, and I'm like like shocked, because I'll explain all that later. But yeah, so I've been exercising my stomach for that, and I can't wait to shoot this scene finally so that I can go on a diet and not be fat anymore, because ooh, it sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back on my diet just because.
Yeah, because you're so fat, dude.
Well.
Oh my god.
No, but I mean, because I have some kind of rash all over my face, and I think it might be wheat. It's either wheat or it's from the heat. Wheat or heat.
I'm sure it's from the heat, actually.
It could be
the first day that it's like been really, really hot, and heat rashes, they develop when heat comes. So you've been sitting there stagnant all winter, cold and whatnot, and so now all of a sudden your skin's back alive, or something to that effect.
So yeah.
Do you know that you don't need to go on a diet, right? I saw your weight today when you got weighed.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want to know? She doesn't like to know her weight because she's got problems. Do you want to know?
Was it good?
It depends on what you consider good. If I say it out loud, every freaking person that's of a normal weight is going to be like, God dang. But to you, you're probably like, oh, how horrific. You weighed 100 pounds.
100 even?
Yeah.
That was with my
clothes?
clothes?
It was 100.2.
Okay, so I weigh about 95, 96.
Yeah.
Without my clothes on.
Congratulations. You're almost a skeleton.
That makes me happy.
Right. And then she got all happy because, they measured her too. And she's like, see, I told you I was 5 foot, because she ended up being like 5 foot.
5 foot and a half.
No, not and a half.
5
You're
foot.
adding crap, dude. It was a 1/4 inch. It was 5 1/4. On your paper, it says 5 1/4. And you were wearing these freaking sneakers that were like this. And I'm telling you, I've measured you before, and you're like 4'11 3/4.
You just want me to be under 5
You just
feet.
want to be over 5 feet.
Yeah.
That's the argument. And not only that, she was standing on this thing. They had like this weird little hole in the ground, so she had to like compensate and step halfway over this. It was really odd. What was that about? Why did they measure people right there? I don't even know how to explain it to the rest of you guys. There was like a tile missing from the ground right there, and it was because they had some weird fancy scale that had hydraulics into the floor, and for some reason they measured her right in the same area, and so she had to like compensate. So I do not trust your measurement at all, because you were probably like standing on your tiptoes not to fall in the hole and blah blah blah. Plus you had sneakers. You're 4'11 3/4. All right, stop trying to be some 5 foot tall girl. It's not that big of a difference anyway. You know what I mean? It would be like the difference between a guy with like a 5 3/4 inch penis going, it's 6 inches, man. It's like, nobody's going to be like, oh, 6? Okay, you're good, dude. You're going to be great in life. Oh, man. So, sorry I had to go there, people. I just had to put that into perspective for the warped mind of my baby. All right. What else you got? Stuff?
I don't really have that much because I'm freaking dying. I'm sweating.
Yeah, it's really hot in here. If we turn on the air, though, see, that's the thing that you guys don't understand. This crisp, clear air, and if we shut up for a second, you can still hear that there's like humming of like the boards and stuff like that and all the electronic equipment. But we don't run the air conditioner during the hour that we're running our show. So by the end of our show, we're all it's horrible.
Dying.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we welcome anybody that wants to come in here and sweat with us.
Yeah, seriously. It's like a freaking sauna in here.
Yeah, especially if you're wearing some pink shirt that was bought for a man. So let's see. I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Do you remember, I don't want to give too much away, but we wanted to talk about Prince a little bit, because I know it's been a long time since his death. It's been almost a year. On March 21st. It will be a year. And I just think that there was one point that I wanted to bring up. And this was the only point. I have this whole thing that I'm doing, like this almost like a Prince thesis that I'm doing. But I know that he was never as successful as Michael Jackson. Like, Michael Jackson completely, like, took over and freaking had $1 billion contract with Sony and all this crap, and superseded anything that Prince ever did, even though Prince was highly more evolved of a musician. But so here's my question. When Michael Jackson died, if you guys can remember back that far, about 2 weeks after he was dead, maybe I'm exaggerating a little, maybe 2 months, but not short thereafter, there were Michael Jackson songs that we had never heard released. Like, they were playing all over the radio. Prince had an archive bigger than any musician ever alive, ever. And it's been a year, and I've yet to hear one Prince song from his vault.
It's very weird.
Isn't that odd?
It's very odd. Yeah.
It's almost... Well, I don't want to get too much into it. We have theories about that, by the way. Some of them involving that he's probably not dead. And that's all I will divulge on that. Because most fans do that with their favorite. They did it with Michael Jackson. They did it with Elvis. They've done it with everybody. And so there is a bunch of people out there that believe that he is not actually dead. And in their defense, not only am I a fan and want him to be alive, but in their defense, it doesn't make sense why there's not this archive of Prince music being, that's typically what record companies and things look for when artists die. Like when Tupac died and stuff, it's like you knew that he was going to blow up, It's like when Van Gogh died, that was the only time you ever saw any money from his work was when he was dead.
Pete Anderson said that there's one, but it's like going through legal problems.
It's so ridiculous, man. I mean, this guy, honestly had... Over the course of the years, it is in excess of a few thousand songs. Now, take it from somebody. I'm somebody that you've never heard of, and I've been a writer for a long time, and since I was 15 years old, and my skills nowhere near match Prince. So I was writing a song every day from the time I was 16 until the time I was about 18, and then I slowed down a little and was doing maybe, I would say, a good 15 songs a year. And so to date, since I've been writing songs since the age of 15 to now, I have over 580 something songs. And so imagine Prince. This is somebody that didn't ever have to go to work, Yeah. He didn't ever have to go be a landscaper for a couple of days to make money so he could feed himself and all this crap. He's literally, music was his life. So, and plus he had all the equipment at his disposal. And so I'm telling you, there has to be. Plus, he was 57 when he died, and still actively making music. There's got to be in excess of 3,000 or 4,000 to maybe 10.
Yeah,
which is insane.
A whole
And so there's one song since he's been dead that was released, and that just does not compute to me at all.
Pete said because he had no will, it's going to take years for things to get resolved.
I mean, I do understand that to a degree, dude, but I'm people bootleg stuff all the time, and I guarantee you those things are out there, and not even on BitTorrent sites is there one of his crooked cousins that had access to play the songs to be I'm gonna release this shit, you know what I mean? That was done to Michael Jackson throughout his career. I had beatbox versions of Michael writing Billie Jean and stuff like that I downloaded off Napster and any BitTorrent early BitTorrent sites. So there's shady people throughout the history of stardom, and they're constantly releasing stuff like that,
Yeah.
You look at the Paris Hilton sex tape kind of things and the Pamela Anderson sex tapes kind of things. I think those are publicity stunts. I don't think that somebody's actually being crooked and it's done with malice. I think they're sitting back going, this is going to make you a star. And so they make it sound like, oh, somebody broke into our house, stole the tapes, and released them. This isn't, but with the musicians, it's not like that. Michael Jackson was seriously trying to sit on songs until they were completed because he was such a perfectionist. I mean, to the point where he, overprotected over-perfected his face. Mm-hmm. So
he just kept going.
And going and going. So to him, having an unfinished work out there, same as Prince, would be something that would just be oh my God, somebody's gonna see me exposed.
Yeah.
And freaking, there are tons and tons of them, of Michael Jackson singing in the shower kind of thing. So it's pretty odd to me that there's only one Prince song that's been released.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Laws or no laws? I mean, how often do people obey laws anyway?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up a valid point, Pete, but I don't exactly agree 100%. And Pete's a really huge Prince fan. He's probably one of the only other dudes that I knew that was masculine enough to be able to be like, I love Prince, man. Like, because we grew up in a town where everybody's like white snobbish and be like, fag. And be like, dude, screw you, man. Prince is dope. I don't care. So, yeah. And then, oh, wow, our room's freezing and stuff. So we are having technical issues as per usual. So it should be like a regular day for us now.
Right. It's just a normal day.
Yeah, it is just a normal day. As you can tell, my voice sounds a little grovelly and stuff. I actually kind of like it because it's got that rasp. I should probably record a song and sing.
Yeah.
It's got that rasp that people like, that Bruce Springsteen kind of flimmy thing going on. But I sound weird, and it's because I'm having allergies. We found out we were sitting in a doctor's office, and they lost their internet, so all their entertainment was down. They were with a company, which I'm not going to disclose, but it wasn't Cox. It was another one. I'm sure the other people that live in Vegas can decipher. So we were sitting in there, and like they had no entertainment, so we're in a quiet waiting room. And it was awesome because, like, you had these young people in there and then these older people and middle-aged people, so it was, like, this very eclectic group. And we had resorted into talking to each other. And it was like, oh, my God, it's like the 50s. We're actually talking to each other. So we started talking to this lady. And come to find out, and this is something that I didn't know, is that because back in the day, you have something or no?
No.
Okay. Back in the day, people used to, the doctors and stuff used to prescribe people to move to Vegas for things like tuberculosis and allergies and things like that because the dry air with very little pollen was good for you for breathing problems and allergies. But there are 2 million people living in Vegas right now, and everybody has brought grass from all over the world. Everybody has brought trees from all over the world. Be like, I'm from New York, some maple trees, and they like, I need them, you know what I mean, kind of thing. I don't know if maple trees are indigenous to New York, I'm just saying, for example. So anyway, they're all bringing all their stuff, so now we got all these trees, and the climate here is like 70% of the year warm and sunny, so everything blooms all the time. And so this lady found out from her doctor and disclosed to us that this is now the worst place in the nation for allergies. And how they gauge that is by how many cold medicines and allergy relief medicines are being sold per year. Yeah. And Vegas is the highest.
Plus, that was that blanket of smog that we saw.
Oh, my God. So we went out to her doctor. It was in Summerlin. It was, and because I haven't been in Summerlin for a long time, I took a wrong turn, and we ended up looking down on the valley. And it looked like LA, man. I wish I would have had my phone to take a picture of it, because that whole scene that you see back, when you watch movies of LA and there's like that blanket of smog, that was Vegas today. Mm-hmm. It was insane. And I was like, wow, we're living in that. Maybe we should come move up to the...
feel well.
We need to come move up to the mountains, because I feel like crap all the time. Plus, I was always one of those sickly kids that always had allergies. Anybody that knew me when I was young could attest to that. I was like a weekly little... And I don't mean weekly as in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean week as in frail. And I was always like, allergic to my cats. And
yeah, I had all kinds of allergies.
Yeah, it was bad.
I get allergy shots every month.
Yeah. So we for those of you that didn't see, we had Jeremy Flores in here our last broadcast, and we saved your Gatorade bottle, Jeremy, because you're famous and everything. So we're just like,
we're gonna sell it on eBay.
We're never gonna throw it away, but we might sell it on eBay. I'll let it go, because I mean, look at that. I mean, his mouth was on that.
That's amazing. His fingerprints, his DNA,
his
is
DNA is right there. We could replicate little Jeremy Flores's.
He sees this, he's gonna be like,
dude, like, what in the hell are they doing? So yeah, are you gonna eat your cookie or no?
Well, Kincaid just said toe fungi, and I'm not sure why he said
interesting.
That, but,
is maybe because we were talking about all the things that were happening here allergy wise? Is maybe there a really prevalent toe fungus happening out here or something?
Yeah. Sorry. That's what you want to hear when you...
No, our listeners obviously want to hear you rip apart something and eat it. I mean, it's good for views. Look at that, huh? Am I a lucky guy or what? Oh God, I don't think that I think we're completely out of our element today. I don't think we should even be sitting in front of you. Sorry, that was me doing my announcer voice in the back.
Yeah, we're zany today.
Huh? I'm not so zany. Is that what you're saying? Or did you say we're zany today?
We're zany today.
Oh, I thought you were saying where is your zany today? Like as in, because I'm normally all. Wah.
No.
I'm suffering from the allergies, but I'm still gonna try to get through this. What?
There's only 1% left on the phone.
So it might shut down, and she can't answer you in text anymore. Roxanne Ramirez said, what did she say? Have you seen any of this Roxanne stuff?
Mm-mm.
No. Then you need to stop looking at the phone and looking at the room, because this thing is going. Eat it slower, Jess, Danny said, because he wanted you to make it more erotic. That's my friends for you, hitting on my wife during my own radio show. In his defense, if he had a hot wife, I'd be saying the same thing. So.
You would?
Huh?
You would?
Well, if I was a single man and my name was Fatbeard, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All this Roxanne stuff. Do you see all this? And there's red in the room too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, this is what the problem is. I heard somebody describe this show as my guest looking at their phone while Frankie's scrambling on 3 computers. I'm not going to disclose who said that, but he's kind of a cocky bastard anyway. And so it is the truth, though. It's hard to get good help, including when it's your wife sometimes. She's like, hey, I put on makeup and headphones, and I say...
a low-cut blouse.
And I say, that wasn't never a requirement. It's your choice. You want to push them boys up, that's all you. The girls, I'm sorry. Yeah, so... It's hard for me to like completely, be on top of all of it. That's why I was like saying from the beginning I want to intern. What we should do is we should make Red.
The intern?
And I mean make him. Not pay him or not be cool to him or anything. Just like literally lives around the corner from the studio and just be like, you are our techie. Here's what you do. Now shut up and do it. I'll wait until after we have him on the show as a guest before I just tell him about this.
Yeah, it's probably best to wait.
Yeah, because I don't want him to know what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. So, hi. Danny Ballard. I could smoke my bong and watch Jess eat all day long. Oh, man. No worries. As I said, I'm not actually profound at the moment, bah ha ha. And that was Roxanne, because I haven't seen what she said he did. And Red said that he needs a lawyer, or he needs his lawyer.
He needs his lawyer?
Yeah. Because we're already badgering him. I guess he's going to get... dude, if you would, like, stand in line for all the people that want to sue me and Jess. For all the things they want to sue us for. That's... Oh, my God, you just made me... See, that's why we need room interaction when we don't have a script. So, I don't know if you guys heard about this. I know Red did, but... some of you that are watching may not have heard that this happened to me. Speaking of people getting all legal and weird and crappy to me, I have now realized that the reason why most of us fail in life at what we're trying to do, aside from working for the man, is because you're being kept and pigeonholed into not being able to succeed. Like if you're like, oh my God, I came up with this great hair tie invention, blah blah blah, and you call some like one of those services that helps you get a patent. I almost said their name, but I don't want to like make them sound like they're criminals. They probably just steal your patent. They're like, oh, well, thanks for that idea. Bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, a lot of us are being discouraged into not thinking we're as talented as we are. And I think that some of you need to overcome that and realize that you are good enough to make it. And your idea is probably good enough to make it. Unless, of course, it's a jumping to conclusions, Matt. Office Space. That you're being suppressed, and the reason why you're being suppressed is because people don't want you to succeed, including corporations, including
they don't
the
want
powers
the
that be. Like, who would think that Facebook would be so crappy to me? I'm sitting here broadcasting on Facebook, entertaining you guys for free. They will not let me then take this broadcast and share it into a group that I have that has 5,800 people, subscribers or whatever. And I was getting a lot of my views that way by sharing it in that room. And I've had other people try to take, and it's just my videos, and it's just my group. Like, I can share it in your group, I can share it in any other group. But my own video, I can't share in my own group to 5,800 people. And so my views started taking a little bit of a nosedive because of that. They never gave me any reason. They never gave me any explanation. They never chastised me. They never even gave me a warning and said, hey, if you do this again, we're going to shut your account down or whatever. Nothing. They just did it and let me figure it out on my own. And, you know, luckily I'm one of those people that's really attentive to, like, my projects, that I'm like every in and out. I want to know every aspect of everything that's happening. And so I freaking posted it or tried to post it in the room, and it just will not post. It just keeps getting this error message. So I came to the conclusion, and I'm not going to say that this is absolutely emphatically the reason why Facebook does this, but a couple of weeks prior, I had paid advertisement on Facebook to try to get my stuff in more people's faces, that people that don't know me, you know what I mean? So those sponsored links that you see on Facebook. And I paid for them to do that. And I got like 2,500 hits, which was decent, and it was well worth the money. I'm not going to say what I paid either, but it was well worth the money because I got 2,500 extra people interested that would normally have never seen my thing. And my intention was, once this show started generating some more capital, was to do both, post it in all my groups, and then also advertise on Facebook. But I've been broke, as most of you know, and so I haven't been able to advertise. So it is my theory, and only my theory, that because they want me to pay for advertising, they're stopping me from being able to advertise myself.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. It's horrible.
Yep.
And so in a way, I've been silenced, and it is discouraging, and it did knock back the quality of the show, with the exception of getting a new camera, because it was very discouraging. So we weren't putting as much effort into it, because we're like, well, this is what we get for trying, then why try?
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why we are in the attitude that we're in. Because this Jeremy Flores thing, like, really had, he was the last person on our show, and really had the potential to hit like 15,000 people. And that was chopped off at the knees. And For no reason. So, wow. Yeah, so that was really hard to deal with, and I didn't know if we were going to talk about that on the show today. But anyway, so that happened. What else we got going on?
Danny said, Red as a guest, you'll have anyone on, won't you?
For those of you that don't know, our friend Red is one of those people that takes the brunt of every freaking joke, because he's easy to pick on. Plus, he always takes it in stride and has really good quippy comebacks. So everybody's always putting Red down, but it's done out of love. If Red doesn't know that, then he needs to know that. Freaking Red's like freaking going through emotional distress and shit. He's like, what psychiatrist are you going to, Jess? Because I need to see one too, because all my friends pick on me.
Like having a meltdown while
right?
he's over there.
But while he's smiling at me, like, oh no, I can totally handle it. And he's like, oh, everybody's always messing with me. But yeah, so yeah, are you talking about yourself now, Red? He's like, he brings it on himself, that little fucker. He's like gotten so used to it that he just takes part in it. He's all standing in front of the bathroom mirror, cutting himself down. Look at you! Oh man, poor Red. No, we love you, Red. And dude, I don't know if you were in the room when I showed the new camera, but here, let me cut to Jess again, because she's better to look at anyway. This is the camera that you bought, that you and Amanda Nelson paid for. So thanks for that. Now I have a nice, crisp, clear image of Jessica and her lovely girls. You want to explain what this is? You talked about this on episode 1, and you never really disclosed what it was.
I didn't? I didn't.
No, it's what reminded you of it was when we were talking about the Mandela effect. Now, why would the Mandela effect remind you of this lovely pendant?
Because it is a Mandela.
What does that mean? That's not Nelson Mandela around your neck.
It's a thing that people used to draw that represents the universe.
Right.
So.
Can you explain in more detail? Like why it's called a Mandela?
Actually, that I don't. I think it's Sanskrit, but I could be just talking out my ass right now.
Yeah.
I was studying more about it because I was so caught up with the whole Mandela effect thing that I was like, well, what is the story behind Mandela? Because I love them. I love Mandelas. I love the way they look. And I know that they're representations of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's cool, though.
And this is a Mandela.
It's a very thick thing to be wearing around your neck, though. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like, seriously, it's like the size of like 4 quarters taped together. Is it uncomfortable?
Mm-mm.
And where did you retrieve that?
I got this from Sylvia, who lives in Ireland, and I got it off Etsy. She makes all kinds of glass beads and stuff.
Yeah. It's a very lovely thing. So let's see what else we got going on in here. You can't see the room very well from where you are, can you?
Me?
Yeah.
I can barely see it.
You can't see that, what Roxanne just said, ridiculous. Exactly why it's hard to succeed without money. Oh, so going back to the, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Roxanne. And that's the thing, is like, had I had the money to pay, and that's what really pisses me off. It's like, because you do have to pay. Like, we deal with the same thing with YouTube. You get buried in YouTube. If you just think that you're gonna, even if your video's epic, dude. Like if you were like outside and you saw like something amazing happen, like a comet fall to the earth and set a monkey on fire or something, whatever it is that people want to see, and so they think it's something like that. And you uploaded it to YouTube, it could be buried for a long time, and because they want you to advertise, everybody wants you to advertise on their site. So unless you're already, it's like one of those catch-22 things where if you're already famous, of course you've already got the public's interest, so they're going to see it and it's going to spread like wildfire. But if you're unknown, you have to like pay to be seen. And then yes, you're getting paid, residuals for your material, but it's almost like breaking even or making less than, because of all the money and time that you have to put forth in order to do it. And to give you an example of that, I can't remember exactly what I'm talking about, but there was a guy that filmed some kind of animal back in 2008, and he filmed some really cute animal, and apparently this animal was just like one of the most adorable things ever, and he posted it on YouTube, and it lay dormant until 2015. Like nobody saw it. No, it had like 15 views, and then for some reason he woke up one day and it had like 2 million views. And then it just kept going and going and going.
That's crazy.
So that's why we constantly upload stuff to YouTube, even though we're...
Because you never know what's going to be the
Yeah, so we're just... Our channel was always like this hodgepodge of stuff. It was like, we'll try some of this humor, some of that humor, something serious here and there, and just threw it all up there. And we were just like, one day something might stick, so... And we'll be able to buy another dinner. Because we did buy a dinner off the money we made from YouTube. We bought a dinner.
It was great.
It was great. It was food.
And we had leftovers.
Yep. So all our life effort was well worth it because we had a meal. Yeah, the pay to play thing. Yes, exactly. So yeah, what's going on with you, Jess? What are you gonna do?
Same stuff.
What are you hoping to accomplish by going to this brain wizard psychiatrist guy?
Well, I want to figure out why I have no energy and why I keep falling asleep during the day. But
I think most people would attribute that to some kind of depression.
Well, yeah, that's because I'm on meds for. It's really more of an anxiety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what it does. Is it helps with obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety, but depression is like typically more of like your stimulant type thing, like
stimulant,
Ritalin and stuff like that, because perks you up. It's like a massive dose of coffee.
Right. Speaking of perking up, we are the most low-key we've ever been on this show, ever.
Well, I'm so tired. I have not been able to get up. I was getting up at 4 in the morning.
That's what time I'm usually going to sleep.
And I cannot get my ass out of bed before 10.
What about the rest of you?
None of it's getting out of bed before.
So yeah, she this is a very OCD person here. Wow.
Very.
It's like I don't know which one should be seeing the psychiatrist, you or me. So we both drive each other insane. So
in a good way, though.
In a good way, yeah, absolutely. You cute. All right, so man.
Well, I'm dying. I'm also like, it's swampy hot in here, people. There's no breeze, and it's really hot. Like,
it sounds good though. All you hear is the humming of computers. It's a very lovely sound. For people in this very techie era, that's a very soothing sound right there. That hum will put you right to sleep.
Yeah, it's
just what you need.
Nice white noise sound, but
yeah. So I guess here's the moral of our thing. We typically, for those of you that don't know why we're even on camera right now, because we are being very monotone. The premise of the show is to be informative, lighthearted, and just be like, because we like talking to you guys, and so you bring us comfort, and we hope that we bring you comfort back, kind of situation. So there's that element. Then there's also the fact that because of things like with the whole squashing the little guy and suppressing people from being seen, we want to bring you on our show. And the reason being is because we think that people have a lot of good ideas and people are very interesting people. And we haven't always had a place to display people. Like, we've thrown Red in a couple of our music videos, and some are still up and coming. And I've always wanted to do a project with Red too, rapping wise, because I think Red has some skills, and he's definitely something that people want to be able to see in front of a camera. The only problem is Red doesn't write any rap music. He's not a good writer. He's only a good rapper. And I actually do some writing, and I'm not saying that I'm great, but I'm pretty decent, and have been wanting to like make music so that I can put the guy in front of your faces and present him as a package. But as you know, time permits, and we've got so many irons and so many fires that it's hard to remain true to these wishes. But with this show, we thought that it would be a good way to be able to talk about local things and what's happening around town that would normally be suppressed. You know what I mean? It's like the Noreen's Lounge thing. I think that's a really cool little bar. And we're not making very much money there, but I like the atmosphere, so I like to do it. Mm-hmm. And people have been coming from Double Shots over there, and within 30 minutes of being in there, they feel at home. And they're like, yeah, this is actually a good secondary to what Double Shots used to be.
Yeah.
And nobody would have known that had I not, had it not been for Jackie bringing me in there, and then me getting on this show and getting on Facebook and getting everybody out there to at least check it out. And that's what we want to do with this show. So, like I've been saying on every episode, if you have a small business, or like with Red's got a karaoke show that he's plugging and stuff like that, and various other things, because he's creative too. So, we want to get you on the show so that you can do these things. I had a really good conversation with Amanda Nelson and Fatbeard. I don't know if you're still watching, because I haven't been watching the room, but we're probably going to have her come in here on cosplay and talk about CCC, which I will disclose what that is later. So that's exactly what we want to do. And we actually turned Red away today because we were ill prepared, and our
if you couldn't tell,
right, and our show suffered. It suffered for it, but we still didn't want to only give Red half of our attention. So even though our show suffered a little bit, I think that it was important because we can be full of more energy when Red is in here. Plus, he will be in here on Friday, this coming Friday, and his show is on Sunday, so it'll at least be more fresh in people's minds when his actual event is.
Makes more
So,
sense.
I mean, you talk about something on Tuesday, and then by Sunday, people forgot what planet they're on, especially in Vegas. Like, whoa!
Yeah.
There's a place called East String? I didn't even know. Where am I? Kind of thing. So, yeah, so that's basically what we wanted to cover is that, we're trying to help our community because we love Vegas and we love what it used to be. We don't really care so much of what it's become.
Yeah.
But we're here to try to change it and to try to bring the element of the little guy back, because that's what made Vegas so great. Was as a tourist coming to Vegas was great because somebody from a different town could come here and be like a high roller and have a totally different persona than he does at home. He could come here and let loose and cut deals and do things and win money and run things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made Vegas cool, and that's why people like to come here. But then all of a sudden it became this corporate machine where they're charging us for parking and all this dumb shit now. And nobody feels big anymore, and guess what? Our business is suffering in Vegas because of it, because nobody feels special anymore. And I think that it's an important thing, and I don't own a casino, but I do own a studio, so come sit in here and I'll make you feel like a king for a day. Because I think it's important. It's important for your ego. It's important for the economy. It's important for just humanity to have people in the spotlight. It's funny. I don't know if you guys remember. There was a TV station out here called Vegas TV, and it was a cool little station, and it was a big station. I don't know if any of you have ever had the opportunity of driving by it or seeing it, but it was down. I don't remember at this point. It was close to the studio though that we're at. So I went there because they were wanting people to pitch show ideas, and so the show idea that I came up with, because the station was like losing money and they were looking to close or something like that, or I don't remember exactly what the scenario is, and I'm not at liberty to say, but for whatever reason they wanted to have people come down and pitch show ideas to them because they wanted to like revamp the station, because at that time they were only playing things like Family Guy and stuff like that, and repeats of stuff. And so me and a few people that I know that are in the business, we went down there and pitched these show ideas to them. And one idea that I pitched to them that they really went nuts over was called 15 Minutes. And what 15 Minutes was exactly what this show is, and that is that we would go out on the strip and we would be like, we would tell people, that were partying in Vegas and everything, okay, here's your 15 minutes of fame. Say whatever you want. And they literally could say whatever they wanted under the sun, being permitted that they don't cuss and stuff like that for TV. But they could, just be like, hi, Mom, hi, Bill, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is a really great idea for your show because, A, people like to see other people. That's why they watch things like Jaywalk All-Stars and stuff like that, is because not only those people are being morons, but because people like to feel like they're meeting new people every day. That's why people go out of their house, because they want to meet new people. So instead you bring it to the people, and not only that, but it would help their station. This is a really clever plan, by the way. It would help their station because in a 30-minute episode, you would have probably like 100 people that are now going to call their family members and have them watch your TV station. So it's just like this web of, oh, this is rubbing that back and that and this and that. And it was the greatest idea, in my opinion. And the freaking TV station was going, we need to make this the forefront of the thing. And unfortunately, it never came to fruition because the station closed down just shortly thereafter. But that's why I always said if I had the opportunity to and had an audience, that I would still try to do basically the same thing, which is let people display whatever they want. So to answer Fatbeard's question of you'll just have anybody on the show, that is absolutely a fact. And that applies to your homeless guy and stuff like that. I think people need to be heard, and I think that's what makes people feel closed off from the world, is because they're not being heard. And
they feel like nobody cares.
And they feel like nobody cares, and it starts to kill you slowly inside. And, when you take that and you do that repetitively, it's... Now you've got cells, I don't want to get too weird for you guys, but now you've got cells that are rebuilding themselves on negativity. Mm-hmm. And it's a constant thing, and it constantly happens. And I think that it eventually kills you if you feel shunned from your peers.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it's funny to be the funny guy and be like, hey, look at what Bob's wearing today. Great hat, Bob. Where'd you find that piece of crap or whatever? And it's funny, but I think ultimately it's not healthy for people, and it's not healthy for the person that's doing it either, because obviously you're attacking somebody, then you constantly feel like you need to be attacking somebody.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that everybody should, well, maybe everybody should be, but I'm not expecting my friends to all be like, oh my God, namaste. It's so great to see you today. You look lovely in your outfit. Like, I don't expect that.
Yeah.
I just think that people should just lighten up on each other some. Mm-hmm. That's all. And
decrease the negativity.
Yeah. And praise one another. I know a lot of people that have some talent, and I know some people that don't really have that much talent. But I always like to make the people that don't have that much talent feel like they have potential to have talent, because most people do. Mm-hmm. So, but Red's one of those people that I think does have talent, and I definitely think that we need to do something with Red. We need to make we need to make him his own YouTube channel, and I need to get busy writing him some raps and songs that he can mess with. I know he's got a couple that he's working on. But yeah. So anyway, extending the offer to the rest of you, if you know somebody with a small business, or you know somebody with a small talent, and you want them to be able to display it even to our small audience, then we would be more than happy to have them on the show. There's a girl named Katie. I don't remember Katie's last name right now, but she used to come to the bar, and I recently discovered one of her songs, and I frickin' love the song. So I messaged her. I saw a sponsored link go by, and it was her, and I was like, oh, cool, she's trying to do something. And it's funny, dude, because this is what really drew me to Katie's thing, is because she used to come to the bar pretty frequently with her boyfriend at the time, and she never sang a song. She never was like one of those pushy karaoke people that's like, I've got to be up and I want to do this song. I don't remember her ever singing a song there. Mm-hmm. And little did I know that she actually had her own original material. And not only that, and I say this with all honesty, it's freaking good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. Like, it needs to be heard. And so I see her out there, on Facebook trying to sell her project, and I wanted to extend to her to show her how to get her songs on iTunes and things like that, because I have songs on iTunes, and you get a better cut, and people are more apt to buy your song if you're selling it through a major distributor rather than where you're currently selling it. So I want to help you with the ins and outs of that, and take time to point you in the right direction, and to put you on the show, and probably have you sing live in our other room one of your songs, and then play one of your songs. So I will be writing her to bring her in here to do one of her songs. And I'm telling you guys, oh man, it hurts me when I see people that should be making a living at something and they're not. And they have no idea what it is. And they might be possibly thinking, and I'm not saying that they are, but they might possibly be thinking they're not good enough. And I'm like, no, you are. You are good enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that just to be encouraging. There are people that I've known throughout my life, like my friend Mike Long. If you're still watching, you can vouch for this. This guy, Mike Long, that I've known, a few years older than me, he is freaking phenomenal. And he got signed to Reprise Records, which is a subsidiary, or whatever the hell you want to call it, of Warner Brothers. And he's super, super talented, like top tier kind of shit. And he was signed, and they did a CD, and I don't know if the company just didn't back it that well or what, because I don't know if people realize that record companies are more like loans. Mm-hmm. It's more like a loan. They're like loan officers. Yep. They give you $100,000. They're like, okay, we're giving you $100,000, and here, sign on the dotted line. And you think, oh my God, I'm getting this freaking record contract. I'm going to be a millionaire. But they don't always put forth the effort. Now they've got you into a $100,000 loan, so they know you're going to be paying them back with interest. Yep. And so they sit on some artists, and they don't put effort into putting them on shelves and stuff like that. They do the bare minimum because they don't feel like you're exactly marketable, but you're worth owing them $100,000.
Right.
So that's the dangerous part of that. But anyway, this guy Mike Long, man, he is so badass, dude, and always was. And eventually he had to just stop and become a freaking loan officer or whatever it is that people do when they finally grow up. Sucks, because I have a bunch of his songs and they're really, really good. So we're gonna have Katie on the show
That'll be awesome.
eventually, and I'm telling you guys, whoever wants to hear something new and good, that you need to stay tuned for that. We don't have a date yet, but we'll be letting you know.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm melting, so.
Yep. So we're gonna get off, and sorry for the serious show that wasn't very quippy and not very spitty the
Yeah,
witty.
it's just not very.
But they're not always gonna be that way. I mean, this is life, man. Some days you're gonna be on, and some days you're not gonna be on. Some days you're gonna be nice and cool, and other days you're gonna be melting like Jessy Meadows. Anyway, we love you guys, and we thank you for watching. And like I said, please spread the word about this because our intentions are good. And yes, we are trying to get out there and feed ourselves too. But we want to bring other people with us. That's one element that isn't happening anymore is people aren't bringing people with them for the ride. And that's what we've always been about. So we love you, and thank you for watching. And have a beautiful Tuesday. Anything you want to say, Jess, before we get out of here?
Thank you for watching, and everybody have a safe night tonight.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.